John the Broski says CS better than Valorant, not close. I agree. The hot take coming from the Riot, former Riot employee, former Riot dev. I think the ball's in Riot's court now. If you're a CSGO player, you should love Valorant because this only exists. Like CS2 only exists because of Valorant. I want to be really clear because John the Broski's in here. Oh, CS Pro. Can we be honest? Some of the stuff that Valve announced, everyone is glazing Valve for when like, okay, what 100, what'd they say, 128 tick servers? Okay, and then they were even like, oh my God, the worst thing is in the video about the smokes. Like now, smokes will appear the same for all players. And it's like, what? I didn't know that. Wait, what? You're telling me that in CS that wasn't the case before? Like, I'm going to be honest. Half the things they announced are things that already exist in other competitive games. And it was like, what? What's up, sir? Thanks for the 6 months. Yeah, like, I was so shocked at half the thing. They announced they showed some really cool shit. The fact that they're porting this all to a new engine. I mean, again, for me, I think that the actual update isn't as cool as the fact that they're porting it to Source 2 and that they are basically indicating that they want to support CS more and that they're going to put more into it. Like, what they're actually doing isn't as interesting to me as the fact that they're actually doing something and promising to do something. That's by far the most interesting thing from Valve. Seems like how Blizzard treated Overwatch 2, where it's indicating that they're going to give the community what they want and give them the treatment it deserves. Yes, but Overwatch 2 is like spiraling downwards. Or sorry, Overwatch 1, Overwatch was spiraling downwards, and then they did Overwatch 2. CS was on the up and up. It does look really good, yeah. Here's the thing. What the actual devs are doing isn't that interesting. It's that they are doing something. Before they even announced CS2, Counter-Strike was getting better and better. So Counter-Strike was already getting better and better. Sorry, not better and better. More and more players are coming in. Sorry. So the player base is growing. That's already crazy. But one thing that I have had to think about is like, can a game actually just not change that much and have so much culture behind it? Because this is another factor that CS has that no other game has. I mean, League is starting to get it. CS just has this crazy history and culture. I wonder if CS will kind of be like, can be the first like video game esport, whatever you want to call it, that has that like basketball appeal that like just doesn't need crazy updates and can just keep this core vanilla game going. And then just the hype comes from new players, from new events, new cosmetics, and the core gameplay just doesn't need that much change. I think a common, possibly even like error the game devs thought of was that you need to just constantly be updating these games. You had to like constantly do this. And I think CS might be the first game to sort of demonstrate. I mean, basketball like barely change. To be fair, basketball does actually change its rules, but it's pretty infrequent, right? And I'm wondering if like this game can then exist in that sense, you know? The debate wasn't CS versus Valo. I've already said I think CS is the clear winner right now. I think CS is I think with what I've seen from CS2, I think CS is, like I just said, even in the case when I thought Valorant was like clearly the next big thing and would overtake CSGO, I didn't think CSGO would die. I think the core gameplay of CS is so good, and the core gameplay, it's why Riot, kind of took it. He was like, I got to put the phone down. Okay. One of the issues I argued for, like, so again, I think the ball's in Riot's court, but I said that Valorant has two things community wise that it really has going for it. And this is the debate that me and Buddha were having. First of all, Valorant appeals to a younger generation. I think everyone's like seeing stuff like online, you know, CS, a lot of the big esports personalities are talking CS, but like, let's be honest, the old guard of esports and a lot of the boomers are kind of behind CS, right? If I'm taking bets on like what game some like, you know, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, like, hey, some 13-year-old, 14-year-old kids playing attack shooter, which one's he playing? I'm going to probably guess Valorant, right? Child game. Valorant, child game, etc. I think Valorant tends to be a much more accessible game, and I think that it's definitely appealed to the Zoomers and Generation Alpha. So that's fine. I still think CS is just such a fucking massive game and is so big that it can just get, like, they'll be able to still get a younger audience to play. Okay, by the way, I got to get the Zoomers hooked on Dota. Everyone makes fun of me about the Dota 2. Like, listen, Dota lost to League. Dota just, that one, I mean, League is already, I worry for the longevity of League just as a MOBA, as the core gameplay. Does anyone have the other copy pasta? So right now, there's the Counter-Strike one. Okay, Valorant, child game. Look to cartoon graphics to make kid player happy like children's show. Valorant, cartoon world with rainbow, unlike Counter-Strike with dark corridor and realistic gun. Valorant like Playhouse. Valorant player run from CSGO, fear of dark world and realism. Oh. Hot take. CS needs to name it attackers and defenders. Cut the terrorist, counter-terrorist shit. Why are I fucking hate these woke people coming into my video games. Bruh, this fucking woke world cancel culture of you do it for the fucking marketability of the game. You do it for fucking sponsors, dumbass. Like, you do it so the game's more marketable. Someone find the CSGO copy pass. Anyways, Buddha and I had the debate. I said Valorant's better. I said Valorant's better for women, and I have no idea if this is true. I don't really have data to back this up. It's more of like a hunch. But the data that I'd use to back that up is that women actually play Valorant. Women don't really play CSGO. And obviously, but I know people, I'm saying like overall, the women player base of CSGO is tiny. And I know this because I used to look at this data, and I used to do all sorts of market research on any number of games. CSGO has one of the smallest women populations. Whereas Valorant actually has a pretty substantial women player base. It's not an anecdote. That's like, there's like literal data on that. Obviously, but I think the thing that was like confused, or like where me and Buddha maybe disagreed, or like what we found common ground, that we both agreed that both communities can be absolutely shit to women, right? We have any number of like, someone said those surveys are defo flawed to some extent. Buddy, you can look at actual, like, there's pretty obvious actual data that shows it. I'm pretty sure one of them is you can just look at the following of the Counter-Strike Twitter, and I think it's like 9% are women. At least you can't kick the women follow. Yeah. I mean, listen, you got like, this is one of those where you can argue like anyone. I even gave Buddha like some examples of like where I could actually understand that CS is actually a more welcoming community to women. And again, I don't know what it's like in the European servers or the Brazilian servers. I just know it is not, it just doesn't have as large of a women player base. It's not even close. So yeah. So I did argue this, Richies. I'd argue that because the CS community is substantially older than the Valorant community, you might just have more people who are kind of just like older and chill and don't just fucking antagonize, you know, women or people with feminine sounding voices. So you could have that. Could be Francois said, Valorant accessible. I beg to differ. CS has servers in Africa. Valorant has not one server in the whole of Africa. CS is on all continents. Valor will only be a global game if they not include Africa. That is just facts. When I use the word accessible, I'm not meaning it like that. I'm using accessible in a different way. I'm saying, like, if in a random study of people, I take like 200 people who have never played tac shooters and I let 200 of them play Valorant and 200 of them play CSGO, I feel like the ones who play Valorant are probably gonna have a better time. Like, as new players. That's what I mean by accessibility. But yeah, I mean, in general, the debate with Buddha was us arguing about. First of all, I have since conceded. I think CS2 is in a much better position than Valorant. Full stop. Don't get me wrong there. The debate with Buddha was, and I think maybe like listen, I'll default. It was me, Buddha, and Myth that were having the debate. We're all texting. I'll default to Myth and Buddha when they talk about various gaming expertise. If Buddha's telling me stuff about, you know, RP, or he's telling me about stuff from his like expertise, hey, I'll listen. But I felt like it, you know, I don't have the raw, like, it's hard to get data to basically be like, hey, which community is more inclusive towards women or towards some group than the other. That's hard to get. But man, if you just look at the raw player base numbers and breakdown of women that play CS versus women that play Valorant, it's crazy different. I mean, it's got to be, I think it was like something like threefold, like triple or quadruple the number of women that played Valorant versus played CS. Anecdotally, you can even sort of look at it in terms of like, in terms of streamers. I mean, there's a lot of really big Valorant streamers who are women. And not to say there aren't CSGO streamers who are women, but not, you know, to the same extent as you know, your Jodies, your, you know, Pokies, your Cityons, etc. I mean, I'm using that anecdote following the literal data, which is, you know, percent of player base. What did Buddha say about? I am surprised he was talking about it on stream when we were texting it. I will say this: while the ball is in Valorant's court, there's a lot of stuff that Valorant can. He said he was losing it. He was stopping at red lights. It was serious. Yeah, I was wondering. He was like texting back. I was like, man, like, is this dude streaming right now? Someone sent me a clip of it. I'm curious what he said. He bet. Oh, dude, because I guarantee, I'll bet you money that if he framed it as we're arguing Valorant versus CS, his chat would have giga flamed me, be like, oh, Blau, Riot, Dick Rider. When full stop, and I want to be very clear, I think CS is better than Valorant. That wasn't what we were debating. I can think CS is better than Valorant, but definitely think that CS has done nothing to be a more inclusive community towards women. That was literally what his chat was doing. They're predictable. CS way, but it's hard to say CS is way better than Valorant when Valorant has clear advantages that like people should recognize. Valorant is going to be the, like, I believe will be a game that will be better for younger generations to play and is more accessible. So you have to hope that then the pipeline is kids play Valorant and then we'll eventually switch off Valorant to go play CSGO. So there's that, or CS2. The other thing is it's a lot easier for Valorant to take good ideas from CS than vice versa. Let's figure out why, right? Like, first of all, the dev behind Valorant are the fucking gods at, oh, you made this? I made this. They're fucking great at taking stuff. Think about it this way. If it turns out that the like guns shooting through smokes is a really cool idea, Riot can just fucking implement that. Bam. They just fucking implement that. Or they implement so some guns can can clear smokes, stuff like that, or they add an additional utility that clears smokes. They're probably looking at that whole smoke shit that CS did, and they're like, ooh, what are we taking from this? 100%. But on the flip side, if you have an ability like Phoenix's ability to fucking, you know, alt in, die, then come back, CSGO can't take that, right? Just like they can't take all the juicy, you know, Rule 34, big booba, big ass, you know, that Valorant gets by, you know, being a character shooter, right? There's a lot of benefits that Valorant gets that CS can't just take. Maybe they can have a little robot to imitate whatever Gecko's new abilities, but you get what I'm saying when I'm like, the gameplay potential of Valorant is way broader. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing. I just gave the example, like basketball hasn't changed much in a long time, and maybe CS can just be, you know, basketball and just chill. So they might not need to, but that potential is there for Valorant that they can be like, hey, we have maps like Bind that have these teleporters. We have, you know, they can do crazier stuff in sort of the sci-fi fantasy world that they have with Valorant, right? They have these crazy abilities. They can be, even utility can be more interesting, right? The fact that like Phoenix Wall and Neon Wall, that those exist, can't really have those in CS. It's way harder to sort of do that. Which is why I'm saying that they have kind of more flexibility. CS is the chess of esports. Yeah, I think that's the counterpoint, is that CS has been around long enough that it doesn't need to do any of that. We can spawn a zoo out of our ass in Valorant. Yeah. Someone said Valo maps are dog shit. I don't think there's an argument. I don't really, dude, everyone's always like, oh my God, Valo maps are dog, CS maps are dog. And I'm like, that's crazy, because the same people that made the CS maps also made the Valorant maps. I genuinely think when people nitpick the maps of Valorant versus CS, I think they're fucking insane, because I'm like, it's literally the same people that made them. Like that one is probably one of my favorite arguments, because I'm like, yo, this, bro, like they just copied some of the maps. Like it's a, yo, trust me, the design of the CSGO maps is infinitely more impressive. It's like they're the same maps in some instance. Same people weren't able to replicate it, bro. They're not crazy hard maps to replicate. Yeah, I don't think the maps is like the crazy thing. I think the thing that keeps CS going is just the gunplay and movement is just god tier. Like the gunplay and movement in CS is just god tier. You don't really need to like change that much of it. Inferno, Mirage, Cash walks all over Valorant maps. There's so many tiers ahead. I think what I need to do is I need to sit down with someone who has a really good understanding of CS maps and have them explain in like an objective manner why CS maps are that much for. Maybe you have slight preferences. I think 90% of the people preferring CS maps to Valorant maps is like, you're kind of glazing on some nostalgia there. But I will admit that the core fundamentals of movement and shooting in CS are god tier. That's why Riot tried to copy it, right? The biggest problem for me in CS is the toxic people. Valo is way less toxic and fun to play in. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think, while I think CS2 puts them ahead of Valorant, I don't think they're that far ahead that like, and people also forget the power of Riot as a developer. Riot's fucking crazy. It's not nostalgia. Tactics are much deeper and no magic or spells are needed. Okay. you understand that the magic and spells of Valorant are just the same tactics of CSGO, but turned into character ability. Like that's the whole premise. It's like, hey, instead of throwing a flash grenade, what if this character snaps their finger and a flash goes around the? It's that they're kind of the same thing. Like that's a weird argument. The tactics are much deeper and no magic or spells are needed. Dude, literally the magic and spells in. Have you guys not noticed that? Valorant literally just takes the same utility and then just turns it into an ability. It's the same thing. Yeah, in CS I can dash my way through walls and teleport. Sure. Yeah, I think there's more utility that I mean, like, it's really interesting because like one of the games is so grounded and can't really make many gameplay changes. Whereas Valorant almost has to add in new things to differentiate itself from CS. So that's why it's gonna be interesting to see how they like fare against each other long term. Again, the identities of the games are both really interesting. Like I said, I still think CS is in a better position right now, but we can point to specific things that one has as an advantage over other. I mean, another thing that, like I said, I think Valorant's just way easier for like new players to pick up and play. I think the people who are really excited about CS are also just older. Yeah, I mean, and again, it might just come down to like, preference, you know? A lot of it's just going to come down to preference, chat. I think, but again, it's like, so I'm someone where I personally prefer Valorant. Like what I like, I prefer Valorant. However, I do think CS2 from a like global position of one tack shooter versus the other, because frankly they're too similar of games not to compare. I think CS2 is in a better position. From what I've seen that they showed, I'm like, okay, it's in a better position. This isn't even touching on their incredible system.
Yeet.
Bro, I'm so fucking upset, man.
What happened, dude?
So fucking upset, dude. I spent all my... Bro, do you know... Listen, I spend all my time fucking working as a game developer, and you know how shitty it is to watch someone just steal your game, man? I go and work on Valorant.
CS2?
Yeah, dude, I work on Valorant, and then these fucking assholes at Valve just go and steal our game. Can't believe it.
Dude, I don't know why they're doing this. Like, it's not even a new game. It's just an update. It's so fucking
scummy. It's literally...
It's just an update, bro.
It's so scummy, bro. They literally just took Valorant and, like, removed the magic, man. Can't believe it.
I mean, it's weird because, like, everyone knows it's the case. It's obvious.
Yeah, man. I can't, like, what kind of scummy company just fucking looks at a game, thinks that it's good, and then just steals it and makes their own version?
I don't know. CSGO community really, like, fell off. Like those guys, like I used to fuck with them too. It's crazy.
Disgusting.
Well, Valorant though, this game's popping.
Hell yeah.
You Radiant yet?
Yeah, that's like the gold looking rank, right?
Yeah. You're Radiant, no?
Yeah, I'm Radiant.
Everyone, yeah, fuck yeah. He's Radiant, guys. He's cool.
Jokes aside, hey, I'll eat my words, man. I thought Valorant. The pressure's on Riot. Let's put it that way, man.
I don't think the pressure's on Riot. Well, dude, the thing is, like, with CS:GO 2, jokes aside, is like it's kind of crazy that they don't even have like the community self-marketed their game. Like, just like all the articles that came out and shit. They literally didn't have to do any promotions.
Yeah, man,
on their own,
because people love the game. Listen, dude, they can. I was shocked. They're like doing a video about their smoke grenades. I didn't even know that smoke grenades weren't the same for like that. People didn't see the same shit. So they're like, yeah, now players will see the same shit, and people are like, oh, that's crazy. And I was like, wait, that's a big feature. People got excited for that.
We had a problem with like one ways, and now it's like we both see the same thing. Yeah, I mean the updates are like it's kind of groundbreaking just because like CS doesn't get that many updates. So the fact that we're getting anything at all is already kind of crazy. But to be fair, the actual game is not out. Like this is like the limited access release. And in the summer, you know, all the features will roll out, which probably was not going to be that much more, but that's what being
Bro, I mean,
Right,
listen, coming from being, you know, a Riot Glazer myself, I'm
you
actually
worked on Valorant, right? No, you worked on
I,
League.
I worked on Valorant too.
You worked on Valorant too.
Um,
Okay.
I worked on the visuals for Valorant. Actually, I did a whole. Valorant was almost not child game. Valorant almost had dark, grim visuals, not child game.
It was
not,
almost
not bright
actual
color.
CS. It was actually
Uh,
almost gonna be CS2.
Yeah. Dude, but like, I don't know, man. CS is here's the craziest thing to me. They've been hitting peak player numbers before this even came out. That's wild. That is wild. That game is insane.
Are those numbers real?
Yes.
Like it's kind of absurd.
CS has actually hit player count numbers that have never been. Dude, that is unheard of, unprecedented in all of gaming. I think CS:GO. Well, I guess CS2. Just be like, I mean, basketball doesn't change its rules that much. It's still, I guess,
it just keeps the fundamentals.
Yeah.
There's just like fundamental issues in the actual game, like the anti-cheat is dog shit, the matchmaking system. Those are like things that the community is like begging for change for years. So I think that's like a big thing people hope to see. Because like if you play CS:GO and you just queue up matchmaking, there's a high chance you're playing a Smurf or a hacker, and that's just like the worst experience for new players.
Yeah, they should go the Riot route and just like, you know, give root access to the Chinese Communist Party to your computer, and you know.
Well, they have like the third party sites like Faceit and shit like that, but it's just so hard to like for like new players, like people that are trying to learn to play the game, it's like not convenient to try to like sign up for all that shit.